Brian Wood's series The Massive has caused a bit of a stir now, hasn't it, Al?
Yeah, there's been a bit of buzz.
There
A lot of
has.
people talking about it, a lot of people buying it.
Indeed.
But as we discussed last episode in relation to Saga,
Yes.
sales don't always equate to quality.
No. So, do they in this though, Al?
Well, that is the question,
Yes, it
isn't
is.
it?
It
Well,
is.
Let's have a look at it. Now, we've seen a lot of post-apocalyptic rather, stories over the last few years, many of them including zombies. But there are no zombies in The Massive. No,
Yet.
in this case, well,
We don't
that's
know.
true. It may come to zombies later. But in this case, the cataclysm in question was a year-long series of global disasters that has left the world not a very nice place to live
No.
for those left alive.
Indeed, it focuses on a group of extreme activists who crew a ship called Kapow, and they're looking for their sister ship, The Massive, and their friends that have gone missing. But they're also trying to work out what actually happened to cause this massive event that's kind of brought down civilization.
Yeah, so obviously this comic has a lot of weighty themes to it. It likes to focus on some big questions. Stuff like, I mean, for one, what do environmentalists do when the environment is pretty much beyond help?
Yeah, and do you stick to your moral code if no one is watching?
So there's a lot going on in this comic, and I think the artwork does a really good job of capturing the mood.
Yeah, Christian Donaldson's artwork in this has a really nice sense of realism to it that I really think fitted this story.
Well, yeah, but I think more for me it was Dave Stewart's colours. There was this nice muted palette that's used throughout that really kind of, it underlines the bleakness of the story that we're looking at here.
Yeah, now the faces though were a little blank.
Yeah.
No one seemed to have any more than one expression, which kind of put me off. Like, if they're not emoting, I can't feel any empathy for them, and so really I don't care about any of them.
Yeah, no, I can see what you say. I mean, I think as they go through the story, they'll probably experience new things. Maybe
would be
they'll
nice.
learn new facial expressions.
Raise an eyebrow.
But I can see what you're saying. I mean, I did find it a little hard to get a sense of their personalities in this. I would have liked a bit more time spent on actually introducing the characters.
Well, they could have done that if they hadn't put so many flashbacks into this issue.
The flashbacks. Now, I'm glad you did mention that, because I've said before, I'm not a fan of big chunks of exposition
No,
just
me
being
neither.
dumped into a story.
Yep.
And that happens in The Massive a lot.
Yeah, and seemingly at random as well.
Yeah.
Like the first big chunk that we kind of get thrust into our face happens. No one's thinking about it, no one's talking about it, it's just turn a page, and oh look,
Yeah,
there's a couple of pages
it's
of
not-
exposition there.
Yeah, it's not right at the start, it's a
No.
little ways in. That did seem kind of random,
Yeah.
did kind of distract me, and as they kept doing that, it really kind of fragmented the story for me.
It did. I feel like they should have spent more time kind of setting up the characters and the story of the Kapow and the Massive, and dribble this kind of information about the cataclysm and the earthquakes and everything throughout the entire series, so that by the time you get to the end of an arc, you know, rather than having it all pushed into your face like an environmental sciences lecture.
Yeah, it did come across a little bit like a documentary or a
Yep.
textbook. Honestly, comes right down to it, I expected more from this comic.
Me too. I've liked Wood's other work. I like Northlanders, I like DMZ, and so I came into this going, fantastic, let's check this out, this will be awesome, but it just left me cold. The characters are not developed, I have no empathy for them, I don't care whether they kind of survive or find the Massive, I just don't care. So, a bit harsh, but hey, what are you going to give this one, Al?
Okay, well look, I did find myself a bit distanced from this one. It came across a bit dry at times, and sometimes even a bit bland. But look, I'm hoping Wood is going to pick up from here on in. Now that he's got the history out of the way, he might just move on and really push forward with the story. We've seen him do really well before.
Yep.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, yeah, I'm not that impressed so far, but I'm hoping it's going to be better. So I'm going to give it a borrow.
Okay. I am not.
Ooh.
I am going to bury this. I know, crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Like I said, I may be a little bit harsh on this, but honestly, the characters, not developed enough for me to care, like I said. The story doesn't go anywhere. Where it ends is where I think it should have started. The colour palette, yeah, that's nice, but the faces, please, have an expression, raise an eyebrow, have a smirk, I don't know.
Anything particular you're wanting with the expressions?
Just something, rather than... Because
They're
boring.
very intense.
They're very intense. I'm certainly not going to pick up issue number 2. I don't care about these people, I'm afraid. So, it's a berry.
Got a berry from Sonya.
Got a berry from Sonya.
Intense look.